Hi Libra, welcome to your May 2022 reading. So today I'll do a spread for you and a spread for your current person. We'll go into a general reading for you and then also just to get a sense of what your person's thinking. And yeah, let's just get started. Alright, and then we'll pull one more for your person on this side. Alright, so, alright. Okay, Libra, so unfortunately, it looks like May is going to be a pretty tough month for you. I think that at the end of April, you face like a lot of like good change and a lot of like, distinct luck. So here in your spread, I have the Wheel of Fortune, the Tower in reverse, and then the Five of Coins. It looks like May is just going to be a very challenging kind of like testing month. It's going to be a month that is used to like test your ability to get through things and kind of like see how much you can experience before it's enough, if that makes sense. I think you're typically someone who is, very strong-willed and like is able to face these things head on when these challenges are thrown to you. But I think I'm getting a sense that so in terms of career, it looks like this career that you have right now, at the end of April, you were trying to kind of like change your mind about it. I think it was somewhere that you weren't very happy at. But you were like, let me see the bright side, But I think that at the start of May, you're going to kind of take things into your own hands and create this big change and just quit your job suddenly. I'm going to clarify this. All right. All right, so I have the Devil in reverse there. Yeah. So I think that as a result of this job just like not being a good fit for you, I think you're going to end up leaving the job suddenly. And that leaves you with the Five of Coins, which is just kind of like, I see as like a really big hardship card. I think that you're going to find yourself having to apply to a bunch of new jobs and like just like experience a lot of new things that you didn't want to go through because you had such a stable experience. You had a job that you were at that was paying pretty well, but it just wasn't making you happy, whether it be the environment or just like the kind of job that it was. And you're going to end up leaving it, and I think it's just going to leave you in this very vulnerable position that you didn't want to find yourself in. With the Devil in reverse, I'm getting a sense that at least you're free from that like terrible environment that you were at your job, even though it did pay well. So I think it was a good decision on your part. Sorry for the interruption there, but I think it was a decision since it was a decision on your part, you feel a bit better about the outcome. I think that if you had gotten fired or something like that, this would feel a lot like, a lot more detrimental and like difficult for you to be going through, but you're a tough person and you decided to do this on your own. So I think that things will all work out in the end. I think you're typically a lucky person. I think, people in your life are always like, oh my God, you always get you never get the short end of the stick. You're always someone who is able to find your way out of things, and I think that's what this Wheel of Fortune here at the beginning of the spread is kind of showing me. So I think you will be okay in terms of that. But when I interpret this in terms of love, it looks like this person that you're currently with, I don't know. I just think that they're not a very, kind and caring person. I'm getting a sense that they're pretty selfish and self-sufficient, and they might be using you, but I think that this is all something that you are already aware of, and you're trying to find, a reason to leave this situation and get out of it. I think that with this Tower in reverse, I think that there will be a breakup, but I think it won't be sudden because I think you're going to find, the power to get out of it. But I do get a sense that this will leave you kind of feeling so hurt and vulnerable and not trusting of love at all. I think this person has negatively impacted your view and image of love in a way that you didn't want to happen, unfortunately. Yeah. This is just I'm so sorry, Libra. Yeah, and I think that with this Five of Coins, it's going to start to kind of feel like a regret that you broke things off. I'm just going to clarify it again. All right, so I have the Two of Coins in reverse here. Yeah, so I'm just getting a sense that this is a pretty definitive, decision that you do make. even if you do regret it and you try to reach back out, they're not going to want to kind of reconcile. Yeah, so it looks like this person, even though they're not good for you, they've kind of like dug their claws in you in a way that like even when you do find the courage to break things off, it feels like you've lost like a really big part of you that you didn't want to lose. I'm going to pull an oracle card here to get like this sense of the emotional connection between you both and how like you should be approaching the situation emotionally. Let's see what comes out here. Alright, so the first one I got here is beauty. Like I said, I think this person is a pretty selfish and vain person. I think they've kind of like I said earlier, like they've dug their claws in you in a way that's like really impacted your own image and your own ability to kind of like function throughout life. In terms of career, I'm connecting this with the life purpose here. I think you just realize that the job that you have currently is just not what you want to be doing long term, and it was never meant to be a long-term situation from the start, but you ended up kind of stuck there, and that's why you just suddenly like, you know, quit. You handed in your 2 weeks and you're like, I'm out of here. And you have the same approach with this relationship. I think that that's kind of indicative of the lack of communication they've had with you throughout the time. Like, you were like, well, they don't communicate with me, so I'm not going to communicate why I'm ending things, and you just kind of like ended it and left. And I think that's your biggest regret, that you didn't talk things out and like let things happen or let things fizzle out as they were going to. But that's kind of difficult to have done because this person is a very selfish person. Looking at their spread here of the Page of Swords, the Ace of Swords in reverse, and then the Star. So I think this person is typically like really emotionally guarded. They are able to use their emotions to kind of manipulate others and manipulate you from the start. I think this person is a fire sign. I'm getting a lot of fire sign energy from their spread. So you're likely dealing with a fire sign, Leo, Aries, Sag, or someone with a lot of fire sign placements. But like I said, I think they're someone who doesn't typically date monogamously or like long term. It seems like this situation was unique in that sense, that you guys were monogamous and they are having regrets. In the same way that you have regrets in how you broke things off, they're having regrets in having, become monogamous with you. And I think that you've sensed that throughout the relationship, which is why it's felt so like, emotionally manipulative, because they're like, well, you should feel grateful that I'm even with you, like that kind of thing. This situation was new to them, and I think that's why they were so on guard and emotionally guarded at the start. And then they sort of kind of like twist and turn the situation, and like I think you were just experiencing a lot of lies, a lot of deceit, a lot of like, confusion. They were not communicating with you, and when they were, it was like they were lying where they were at. They were lying about when they were free. They were lying why they weren't texting, that kind of thing. When you broke things off, or when you do break things off at the start of May, I think they're gonna, like, unfortunately, Libra, like, they see this as a good thing. They are, like, thriving because they want to be dating around, they want to be seeing other people, and they want to be able to, like, be free in that way. And for you regret it because you're like, well, I wanted to kind of, like, hold this person down and be with them, and they made it seem like they wanted to be with me, but they've manipulated you so much that you kind of think that, well, I need this person to be around, like, I need this person, but you don't. Like, they made you feel that way. Yeah, I just don't think that this is like a relationship that has been like using a lot of like care. They're not someone who's considerate of your feelings. And I think that they've kind of dismissed you that entire time that you guys were together, and they're looking forward almost to like being out of this. There's that tension that you've sensed since the start of the relationship, and they are really, going full force with it. And I think that's what made you, or will make you, kind of like start the beginning of the end, if that makes sense. But I think you're going to find someone new. Like I said, I think you're someone who like finds a lot of luck in times of adversity, and I think that you will learn a lesson from this, even if they are kind of like manipulating you. I'm going to pull an oracle card here, just for a more definitive sense of what they think about you. Alright, so yeah, the tone of these two cards are just kind of like, basically, like I said, a lot of regret. You and I were too young. Oop, wish that would focus there. And then, I wish things could be different. And that's their, like, manipulative side talking. I wish things could be different, but they created those circumstances around this relationship. I think you guys did get together when you were probably, like, too naive. Maybe you got together right after you both had gotten out of something bad and you were looking for a lot of hope in a new relationship, but it just didn't work out. They're not someone who, like, likes monogamy, and I think they're realizing that. And they're just not treating you well in the process. I think they're facing a lot of regret and they don't want to be together any longer, but you have control of the situation. You're the one that I see ultimately ending things, Libra. And even though you will face kind of like a hard time afterwards, I think that you will kind of, learn from this and learn to, be with someone who respects you and your emotions and, be more mature. I think this person is pretty immature. They don't care to, have the Ace of Swords here in reverse. They don't care to, discuss things with logic. They don't care to communicate in a mature manner. So I just don't think it's worth it. It seems like they are more focused on themselves and what they can get out of a relationship or out of a love connection, and they aren't really considering your feelings. And I think that you already know that. This is just confirmation that they are just not, in it for the long haul, unfortunately. That's your May 2022. Thanks for watching, Libra.